What are some of the better well-known symptoms? What are some of the symptoms that's maybe a little bit as unpopular, if you will?
Okay, so the more typical ones, people will say predominantly hyperactive impulsive. So usually external again, it always feels like there's a little bit of a motor inside you driving you forward. Think of like the bullet train.
Okay.
Okay, so having difficulty holding oneself back, constantly interrupting people, and jumping into things that maybe one might not have thought, if one thought through properly, may not have done. So that impulsivity side, and just having difficulty staying in one place, having to fidget, move, shake the legs, whatever.
As I'm about to start fidgeting right now. So.
Okay, so that's one aspect. The other one that I talked about earlier was the predominantly inattentive. So for that is more internal. So a lot of racing thoughts in the head, and sometimes because of all those thoughts, it distracts one from focusing or absorbing what's going on around them in the current moment. So that's why there's a lot of issues about lack of attention to detail or missing things, feeling constantly overwhelmed, but also being easily distracted, right?
Okay.
So, but more people have a combination of both.
Right.
So those are the more common kind of symptoms. The less known or the more controversial, but from a clinical point of view, many clinicians observed, number one, emotional dysregulation. Yeah, so what that means is we feel more. So our highs are higher than others and our lows are lower than others. Intensity of emotion.
Okay.
So that also might lead to things like being a little bit more perceived as sensitive to criticism or perceived criticism. There's a word that's coined called rejection sensitive dysphoria, RSD, where people sometimes overreact to constructive feedback. The other thing as well that is quite common for many with ADHD is the executive dysfunction. We talk about executive function,
Right.
getting things done. So many people struggle. So it's really the point of performance.
Okay.
That means it's not knowing what to do, but it's doing what you know.
Okay. So that's a very clear distinction, right? I don't follow instruction versus I just don't really know what to do.
Yeah, it's not a knowing issue, it's a doing what you know issue.
Okay.
Right? The third thing is a lot of people with ADHD actually struggle with sleep issues. We are in a very much hyper-connected world, right? We're on devices all the time,
Right.
and COVID disrupted everyone's schedule, especially work from home, we're chronically online.
Right.
So that, you asked me earlier about nature and nurture, right?
Yes.
So sometimes the environment can also make things worse.
True.
Right? But sleep issues, because many with ADHD, because of the racing mind, find it hard to settle.